Thanks for watching my broadcast. Today we're talking about grief through the holidays. It's entitled Hope for the Holidays. Hope is a wonderful emotion. It's actually very important to our survival. We do things because we hope for a certain outcome. We go to work because we hope to earn money to take care of our needs. We go to church in the hope that it will give us the uplift we need to get through the challenges of this life. We have families in the hopes that we will have loving relationships and leave a legacy behind when we leave this earth. Hope is vital to getting us through this life. But we also know sometimes emotions are tumultuous, unpredictable, engulfing, overwhelming, and even devastating and crushing, and sometimes very cold and bitter. There's no time that we're more keenly aware of that than at the holidays. And it's particularly true with grief. Depending on how acute and fresh your loss is, the holidays can be overwhelming with emotions that are confusing and depressing rather than joyful, like you want the holidays to be. We know if we've been grieving very long, that grief is different for each of us. I found this interesting grieving person's Bill of Rights that I just want to run through. You have the right to experience your own grief, your unique way. When we experience a loss, although the process of grief is similar, we're each unique individuals and our experience will be different from one another's. Our relationships with our lost loved ones is also unique. We have the right to experience our grief our way, go through it our way, or even avoid it our way if that's what we want. We have the right to talk about our grief. If you don't have people who are willing to listen to you, keep looking until you find a friend or even a professional who will allow you to talk until you feel you've been heard. You have the right to feel a multitude of emotions. As I said, relationships are complicated. You may feel something different than warm, fuzzy feelings when you think of your lost loved one. You may feel a confusing combination of relief or gladness along with the sadness or loss. Your emotions are yours, and no one can tell you what your emotions are or limit them. You have the right to be tolerant of your physical and emotional limits. This is a big part of taking care of yourself in your grief. You have to do it. No one else will get the physical or spiritual or emotional signs your body is sending. If you're tired, don't question it, just rest. If you feel energized, pick a project and do it, and anything in between. Listen to your body and your mind and be tolerant and accepting of what you're hearing and feeling. You have the right to experience grief attacks. I remember having a strong one and realizing how long it had been since my brother had died. I was a little surprised by it, but it is our right to experience those things our own way. You have the right to make use of ritual. You have the right to do whatever it takes to make you feel connected to your lost loved one. To find the road to healing and moving on. We'll talk more about these rituals in just a minute. You have the right to embrace your spirituality. Losing someone you love gives you the opportunity to think about what you really believe. For most of us, that's a spiritual path. You have the right to search for meaning. Most of us move towards making meaning as a way of coping with the feelings of loss, loneliness, abandonment, and fear that often go along with losing someone we love. Not everyone's search is the same, and that's okay. You have the right to treasure your memories. When we lose a loved one, often the memories we have of time shared with them is all we have left. Those memories can become the treasures through which we find the ability to smile again and eventually to laugh. You have the right to move towards your grief and healing. Again, that path isn't the same for everyone. Your path towards grief and healing will be as unique as you are. No one can tell you what that is. And so, how do you cope? Well, first of all, you have to acknowledge to yourself and those that you spend the holidays with that this year's going to be different. You're going to handle things differently. You feel differently, and you'll be celebrating as it feels right to you. Decide what traditions you'll keep and which ones you want to change or stop. Some things won't feel right without your loved one there. It's okay to discontinue them. Decide if there's a new tradition that you want to create that will bring you joy and help you feel connected to your loved one. Plan ahead and communicate your needs and wishes with others. Talking is an important step. Remember, not everyone is grieving the same way you are, and not everyone will want to spend the holidays the same. Be open and communicate about that. So some potential new traditions that you can consider. First of all, a memory stocking. I love the idea of this. Everyone writes down their holiday memories and slips them in the stocking throughout the month. And you sit down together on Christmas Eve and then you read them and you reminisce together. Or light a new candle as you gather to celebrate and keep it burning for your loved one. Include your loved one's favorite dishes or make a donation in their name. Share your loved one's favorite jokes or memes that remind you of him or her. Buy a gift that you would have bought for your loved one and donate it or give it to somebody that was important to them. Adopt a family that your family can bring the holiday to, either in the form of gifts or food. Make a new memorial ornament or a wreath to honor your loved one as part of your decorations. Make a cup of cocoa and sit by the tree and journal your feelings about your loved one at this stage of your grief process. And maybe you could even add their favorite holiday music while you're doing that. The most important thing about getting through the holidays and having your grief turned into a more hopeful feeling is to take care of yourself. One of those ways is, while it might feel better in the moment to eat or drink, ultimately you won't feel that good about it. So don't overindulge. And look for things to be grateful for. I'm sure you've heard this a lot while you've been grieving, but that's because it works. Each day look for something that has brought you joy and just relish it for a moment. And we all forget things. Make a list. It'll help you remember what you really want to do and help you keep focused. When we're grieving, it's especially hard to remember things, so making lists can help us do all the things that we want to and not forget things. When someone offers to help, say yes. If no one offers, ask them. Be honest about how you're feeling and kindly ask for their help with whatever you feel they can do, especially if you've been the one who did everything in the past. Try to be kind to yourself and give others the opportunity to help you. People really will be grateful to know something specific they can do, because people generally want to help, but they don't always know what to do. Splurge on a little gift for yourself. Sometimes when we're grieving, we kind of feel a little entitled or self-involved, and that's okay. Particularly now and when it's in reason. If that's your usual behavior, it will eventually level out. It's also important to carve out some quiet time alone to think about your loved one and spend that quiet time recalling your specific memories with that person. Drive yourself or arrange a pickup when you think that you'll be ready to leave and get together. This is a good way to take care of yourself. The holidays are overwhelming. It can become overwhelming and may trigger a crying episode or feelings of sadness. Feel your emotions and don't do things that trigger that immense sadness. Skip or minimize gifts or skip or minimize decorations, and don't feel guilty about minimizing. And remember, it's okay to cry. Try to let go, especially at this time, of the perfectionism that has driven you in the past. Also remember, it's okay to be happy. If in your grief process you're at a stage where you're feeling a little better and you're looking with more hope to the future, don't criticize yourself for that. The goal of your grief is to look towards a brighter future, a different future than you had planned, but it can be and should be brighter with hope. We are the hope in the holidays. We as human beings who think, feel, and act, we can do things to lift one another. We can lift each other's spirits, we can ease each other's burdens and weariness, and we can help provide an outlook for a brighter tomorrow through our love and support of one another. When we reach that place of hope, looking to a brighter future, we will feel calmer, more tranquil. Breathing will be a little easier and we'll feel a little happier. It doesn't mean you don't still love the one you lost, and it doesn't mean that you'll ever forget them or that you won't be sad anymore for the loss. When we face grief in a healthy way, we believe our grief has a purpose and an end. We understand that and believe that we're responsible for our own grief process. How we do it is unique to us and will ultimately be our own responsibility to get through the grief and get to a place of hope. We can get through it more comfortably if we are not afraid to ask for help. And we should not try to rush our own or anyone else's movement through the process. When we incorporate our love and acceptance of our laws, we begin to bridge the past. We also begin to live more in the present, where we can build and create and try new things. We can move forward living independently and with the hope of building new and enhancing existing relationships. We can remember the sun will shine again and the day can be glorious.